Welcome back. You're listening to the Monday Club on talkSPORT 2. Myself, Ade Oladipo, alongside Rory Jennings. A reminder that the live Premier League action continues tonight as Fulham host Spurs live on talkSPORT. We're going to have all the build-up from 6 o'clock on game night with Adrian Durham. But for now, it's time for some overreactions. All right, Rory, first one. You ready?
Ready.
Let's do this. This is an interesting one. Frank Lampard will never, ever manage in the Premier League again once he is sacked by Everton.
I can't agree with never ever because naturally it's never ever. You can't. The whole saying is you can never say never. What I would say is, firstly, it's very difficult to give him another opportunity. He's really going to have to work for it. It's really going to have to be a perfect set of circumstances because it's so easy to say that he's not a good manager. I would disagree. I genuinely would, because I appreciate that it didn't go at all well at Everton this season. But if there are two clubs that have got to be the worst for a young manager to cut his teeth, Chelsea under Abramovich, Everton under Mashiri.
Yeah,
like,
I'll back that.
What chance have you got? Far better managers than Frank Lampard have failed at Everton, and it doesn't make them a bad manager. You don't think of Ancelotti as a bad manager, do you?
Do you think though? No, I don't know. Do you think he will want to manage in the Premier League? Like, do you think he might do a Scott Parker and say, let me just go abroad. Let me go abroad and cut my teeth somewhere else?
No, I don't necessarily think. Also, I think the circumstances are slightly different. Like Frank Lampard's got a young family. He's very London-centric. His missus works in... I don't know.
So is Scott Parker.
I don't know.
Young
Scott
family.
Parker's married to, though.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Maybe he does.
If you're not married to someone famous.
If Scott Parker's married to Kat Deely, then that's definitely true. But I don't know that. Whereas I know for a fact that Frank Lampard has an issue with... he can't just up and leave.
Yeah.
So no, I don't necessarily think he'll do that. I think what he should probably do is just take the easy route.
TV, punditry.
Take the studio.
Yeah, I agree, punditry.
And massive money, treated like royalty.
You know what I find, though, very difficult? I saw Steven Gerrard do it recently, Liverpool game, BT Sports. It's so difficult then to critique after you failed. Like before they could do it, they're jumping on it. You should like almost what Gary Neville did before he got the Valencia job. You can do all that nonsense. Once you're back in the studio after you've been sacked, it's pretty difficult.
Do you know what I think the problem is as well for people like Steven Gerrard and Frank Lampard? The fact that they got to the very top and they were so excellent at what they did, they obviously have that inner burning desire to be the best, and that serves them so well in their professional career as a footballer. But it seems to be doing them a bit of a disservice now. Like Frank Lampard really shouldn't have taken the Everton job. Nobody should. Particularly not a young manager. For Benitez, it makes sense. Yeah. For Ancelotti, to a degree, it makes sense because there's no jeopardy on it. But if you're a young manager now with a point to prove, do anything but don't take the Everton job. Don't work for Farhad Mashiri.
It's so weird when you look at that. We'll probably talk about this on another show, but the golden generation of English footballers that everyone, and all of them have tried management and all of them been rubbish.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Steven Gerrard won stuff up in Scotland, but Steven Gerrard,
But do you not
Lampard,
think the jury's
Rooney,
still out on Lampard,
Neville.
Gerrard?
No, I don't. I think we're seeing with managers come in now, like De Zerbi, we're seeing managers come in to the Premier League and just go bang straight away, immediate. And we're seeing great football from those managers. And I think Premier League clubs might go that route now rather than giving a young English manager a chance.
But in both Lampard and Gerrard, we've seen
Gerrard was in the perfect club.
But we've seen glimpses of excellence from both of them. Like Frank Lampard effectively took Chelsea's youth team to the FA Cup final, top four of the Premier League.
But you know as well as I do, there's levels to this.
And then Steven Gerrard has won a title.
Levels. And unfortunately, they're maybe not at that required level yet. But I will.
I'm not ready to write either of them off.
I will agree with you. I've wrote Gerrard off. I will agree with you about Lampard, though. Everton and Chelsea, mate.
Ridiculous.
Like you say, world-class managers have been shown their P45s.
Yeah.
World class. All right, this one. Jez is he's having a fun game today, isn't he? Mudryk is already Chelsea's best player.
Yeah. I don't think that's too extreme. I don't necessarily think he's the best player at the club. I think N'Golo Kante's a better player than him, but isn't showing that. Thiago Silva is a better player than him, but is 38. But I think Mudryk looked lively. I think he looked lively, he looked direct. It's what we've been missing for such a long time. Like Chelsea haven't had a player like that. That mercurial, unpredictable quality. Yeah. We haven't had that since Eden Hazard left the club, 2019. So we've really needed to replace.
We've had a lot of false dawns at it.
Christian Pulisic was meant to be that. Timo Werner was meant to be that.
He reminds me of a Sharvin.
Yes.
He's very direct. Gets the ball. Yeah, just gone.
Scurries, quick feet.
Like when he went at Milner, I was like, you better bring him down.
Yeah.
Bring him down and get off. Yeah, he brought him down and got sent off. Yeah. All right, next one. Eddie Nketiah should keep his place in the Arsenal 11 even when Jesus is fit again.
Yes, I think he should. I don't think you change a winning team. There's no reason to stop Nketiah playing. He's just scored 2 goals against Manchester United and Arsenal.
He's got a problem though, hasn't he? There,
he's not a better player than Jesus. I'm not being foolish. This is it.
Here. I mean, Jesus is the better player. He's the bigger player. He's won everything. Well, he won
but
the
you
league
don't just
least.
drop us goals because a footballer that has a bit of heat around them.
Yeah,
you've got to nurture that.
Yeah.
You've got we were having this conversation about Southgate at the World Cup. You know, when Marcus Rashford was scoring goals,
keep playing him.
Just keep playing him because he's working.
Once you're hot, you're hot.
And as soon as it goes cold for Nketiah, like as soon as he isn't doing what he's doing now, in comes Jesus, and then maybe the pressure's on Jesus because Nketiah's suddenly breathing over his shoulders. They should inspire one another. Yeah. It's a great problem if you want to see it as a problem.
No, you're right. It's a fantastic problem to have. Again, it goes back to that squad depth now. Arsenal look like they've got it. All right, next one. Anthony for 80 million. Manchester United Anthony is up there with the worst transfer business Manchester United have done since Alex Ferguson left the club. I don't know. There's been so many.
I think it's fair because of the price tag, not necessarily because of the footballer.
He's not that good. He's not that. He only got into the Brazilian squad as well because of that United move, I think. Someone's like, oh, hello, you play for United, you're in. Well done.
Do you not think that we judge him so harshly because United overspent and admitted that they overspent? That was the problem. United said he's not worth 100 million euros or whatever it was, and then went, okay, we'll pay you 100 million euros.
Do you know what the bigger issue here is? You've spoken about this, and others and people that have spoken about it have got stick. That Eredivisie ain't that good, you know?
No.
Ain't that good. You look at, I mean, Gakpo, I'm already starting to see there could be a bit of an issue there with Gakpo already. There might be an issue.
Wild shooting.
Mate, interesting from him. See, like Darwin Núñez, you can see a bit of a diamond in the rough. I don't really see any diamond in Gakpo. I think we saw it with Donny van de Beek. Yeah. He tore up that league, Van de Beek. He's awful. He's awful.
I mean, there's been issues. Mate. Frankie de Jong, there's been issues about at other clubs as well, hasn't there?
That Dutch league,
the centre half at Juve didn't get the love that people expected him to get either.
De Ligt. Yeah, and all these players, mate, I think there's an issue with that league. I really do. All right, next one. Man City's decision to sell Zinchenko, to Arsenal was a huge mistake. Laporte and Ake have been playing left back for them recently as well. Have they got it wrong, Man City? Was it arrogance?
If Arsenal win the league, and I think they will, they should give Pep Guardiola a winner's medal as well.
He's got to get something, hasn't he?
Pep Guardiola has contributed to the Arsenal season as much as anyone else. Pep Guardiola is as responsible for Arsenal's brilliance as virtually anyone else who isn't at the club. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable because it's a double-edged sword. Not only did it strengthen... It strengthened Arsenal in a multitude of ways. It strengthened them on the pitch because he's such a brilliant player, but it also strengthened them in terms of nous and know-how about how to win football matches. And you can't teach that to Nketiah.
And the worst thing for Man City as well is Cancelo's been awful. He's been awful. So it's almost like
you sold him before you'd replaced him.
Yeah,
if you're going to sell, look, I don't think you should have sold him because I think he's a brilliant footballer, and certainly don't sell him to a rival. I know you didn't see him as a rival, but that's your responsibility. That's your mistake. But if you are going to sell him, you have to replace him. Do you remember when they were after Cucurella? Shame that didn't work out, actually. But had they signed Cucurella and then let Zinchenko go,
fine, makes sense.
It would make it far less.
Didn't they sign someone from Porto, though?
Yeah, they did, but it hasn't worked.
Was it Porto?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did, but it hasn't worked. Yeah. And there can't be jeopardy if you're going to let a player go.
No one really talks about Guardiola's failed transfers. You know, like it's always success with Guardiola.
All the players that he can't get the best out of. You know, like Thierry Henry. I know Thierry Henry.
But he didn't get the best out of him.
Didn't get the best out of him.
No one talks about that.
Ibrahimovic.
Yeah. It's a bit like Klopp. You know, like Klopp. It's always like, he always turns players, and he does. But there are some that just, trust me, I watch. That's rubbish.
Yeah, there's always going to be that. But I think Klopp's ability to polish is better.
It's better. Yeah. All right, last one. No, I'm going to answer it for you. No, neither Chelsea or Liverpool will finish in the top 4 next season.
No, I think both will next season.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
I think Chelsea are building. I mean, we're building a very big squad.
Mate, Chelsea.
I think we're building quite a nice looking squad.
Mate, young as well.
Yeah.
Young. I mean,
and that Badiashile is fantastic. He's the best player that we've signed for such a long time. Mudrik's looking good. You know,
I'll tell you now though, João Felix could be something naughty before he got sent off.
Yeah.
And there's now all of a sudden there's this rumour coming out that there is you can buy him, not an obligation to buy, but there is something.
It's just going to be expensive, but they don't seem to care about that. It's very weird. Yeah. It's very.
Well,
weird.
Atletico Madrid have no money either, so I don't think it'll be as expensive as you think it will be. Yeah, it probably will be around the 70 million mark, but not near the hundreds.
Not the hundreds or whatever.
No. So you think both of them will finish top 4?
I don't think it's wild for me to say that both could finish top 4 next season. Yeah.
Bear in mind what Newcastle are going to do.
Yeah.
Bear in mind what Man United are going to do.
Yeah, but
Arsenal look like they could. Arsenal could get Declan Rice.
Yeah. They could. Do you know what they
Arsenal
could do?
Could
They win the league.
Declan Rice.
They could ruin everybody's plans. They could go and sign Jude Bellingham or something like that. Couldn't they? Ruin everyone's plans.
Imagine that.
Win the league, get in the Champions League,
and that's the only London team that could be okay to go to. I mean,
in what sense?
I mean, with Tottenham, he's not going to go to Tottenham, is he?
No,
he's not going to go to Tottenham. I don't think he'll go back to Chelsea.
I can see that one happening.
But we
need to be in Europe.
Yeah,
I think we need to be in Europe to make that one happen.
Wow, Arsenal in for Declan Rice. What a wild, wild world this is football's turning out to be.